So guys, there's a classic idea that if you trigger a girl's curiosity, you have already woken up something real inside her. From what I've seen, a lot of women are naturally curious, and especially when they feel something for a guy, they really start paying attention to him. When a woman is choosing a partner, or what you could call her mate selection, one of the most important things she's looking for is that she can actually be curious about him. Because when she's curious, she observes you, she tests you in little ways, and only after she feels satisfied does she fully commit to being with you. And that's why I want every guy here to understand one simple thing. If a girl comes into your life, talks to you for a while, shows interest for a bit, asks you a bunch of seemingly random questions, and then moves on, that does not mean you failed. It just means that part of her natural process played out. She came, she got curious, she explored you for a moment, and something didn't click for her. Maybe she didn't understand you, maybe you didn't show her enough, maybe the timing was off. Whatever it was, that's just curiosity doing its job. But today, I want to show you 5 powerful ways you can actually tap into that curiosity and make a healthy, feminine-minded woman deeply interested in you. If you can trigger that natural, almost cat-like curiosity inside her, her interest in you won't just fade in a week. It can stay with her for years. And the first, most underrated thing that switches this on in the right kind of woman is your strong inner drive. When a woman can see that you're moving forward in your life with a clear internal engine, it sparks something inside her mind she can't ignore. She starts asking herself, what is this guy really going for? How far is he trying to go? What is actually pushing him forward every single day? That kind of drive is something she doesn't see in the men around her, especially not in the overly emotional guys who are always looking for validation from the outside. When she can't fully understand your internal motivation, she becomes genuinely curious. What's waking you up every morning? What's keeping you disciplined when nobody is watching? What's driving you to keep working hard and keep moving forward? Those questions can make a feminine-minded woman so curious about you that she starts paying attention to even the smallest things you do. And that internal drive is not just about success or money, it's about your mindset, about how excited you are for your own life. When she feels that you're more in love with your own journey than with impressing her, that's what makes her long-term interest in you grow. She doesn't want a man who's emotionally unstable, constantly clinging to her for happiness, or switching between hot and cold moods. She wants a man who has a clear mission, a clear direction, and an inner fire that she can't fully predict. That unpredictability is what makes her stay curious. Because if she can already read your whole life story in 5 minutes, there's nothing left for her to explore. But when she senses that you're on a path, you're still figuring out, at the same time staying disciplined and consistent, something in her wants to know more. Now, the second big thing is about how you show up emotionally. A lot of guys think that to get a woman's interest, they need to be distant, unavailable, or mysterious. But that actually attracts the wrong kind of woman, the anxious, insecure type who gets hooked on drama and emotional spikes. Healthy, feminine-minded women are not turned on by men who ghost them or create fake distance. They are turned on by men who are emotionally available, but not emotionally dependent. They want a man who can be around them, enjoy them, and still be completely okay on his own. They notice the difference between a guy who needs validation and a guy who can share his ideas, his vision, and his past experiences without trying to impress her. When you talk to her about your real challenges, your lessons, your failures, and you do it in a way that feels deep but not heavy, she feels more connected to you. And behind that connection, 100 questions start forming in her mind. Who is this guy really? What's his story? What shaped him to think like this? That kind of curiosity is almost impossible to ignore. An anxious woman, on the other hand, usually gets excited when she sees you around other women because that triggers competition and fear of missing out. But that's not the game you want to play if you're looking for a real, stable partner. The real game changer is when a woman feels attracted to you, not because you're chasing her, but because you're living a life that she admires. When she can see that you're not nervous around her, not shaking in your boots trying to impress her, that's when her respect for you starts to grow. A lot of guys feel nervous even when they don't have any real flaws, just because they're afraid of being judged or rejected. And that fear often shows up in simple behaviors, like avoiding eye contact, speaking too fast, or acting like they're lower than the girl somehow. Women notice that instantly. It doesn't just affect how she sees you in the bedroom. It affects how she sees you in everyday life. When you're out with her, when you're talking to her in public, that internal confidence is what makes the difference. That's why the third point is about emotional regulation. A man who can control his own emotions, who doesn't swing from high to low, who is not constantly chasing validation from outside, is extremely attractive to healthy women. When you don't need someone else to make you feel good, and you can stay calm even in stressful situations, that's a rare quality. Traumatized or emotionally unstable women often get addicted to high drama personalities, guys who are either extremely loving or extremely cold. Those highs and lows feed their addiction to intensity. But a mentally stable, feminine-minded woman is turned on by a man who has emotional depth without the chaos. She can see that he's not outsourcing his happiness. He's not looking to her to fix his mood or his life. When she watches you handle your emotions, your moods, and your actions with control, it signals that you're a higher value, more grounded person. That kind of inner stability is not just attractive to women. It makes almost any human being curious about you because it's so uncommon. From there, we move to the fourth point. The ability to handle almost anything. A woman who wants to build a real life with you is looking for one non-negotiable thing she needs to feel, that you can handle pressure, stress, and unexpected situations. She doesn't want a man who panics when something goes wrong or who needs her to calm him down. She wants to know that no matter how intense things get, there's something solid she can rely on. And one of the clearest signs of that is your ability to stay silent. Watch how anxious guys behave when they're trying to impress a woman. They talk nonstop. They ask questions every few seconds. They can't stand even a second of quiet. They feel like silence is awkward, so they rush to fill it with anything they can say. But that constant talking sends a subtle message. This man is nervous. He can't sit with his own presence. And when he's that attached to talking, he's emotionally fragile. A calm, confident man, on the other hand, is comfortable with silence. He doesn't fear the quiet moments. When he's on a date, he can enjoy a few seconds of silence without rushing to say something. That silence creates a different kind of tension, one that's not about discomfort, but about curiosity. When you stay quiet in front of her, she starts to observe you, to read your expressions, to wonder what you're thinking. That's when her interest in you deepens. And when she is the one who finally breaks the silence, when she is the one who reaches toward you, that's a powerful shift. Because unconsciously, you've trained her that if she wants to know more about you, she has to show up. She has to ask. She has to act. She has to lean in. That's a lot more powerful than only you chasing her. Now, silence doesn't mean you become cold, unemotional, or completely unreactive. I'm not telling you to shut down your personality. I'm saying you should stop wasting your energy on irrelevant reactions. Women notice where you're spending your time and attention. If you're always reacting to drama, to gossip, or to small things, they start to unconsciously think you don't have much going on inside. But when they see that you're calm, focused, and in control of your energy, that's what makes them feel safe and curious about you at the same time. And that brings us to the final point, irrational confidence. When a woman is watching you from a distance, what makes her really sit up and pay attention is when she sees that you're living your life like you already understand the game. She notices that you're not begging for attention, not trying to prove yourself, and yet you're moving forward with a quiet certainty. When she sees that, it turns her on at a deep level. This isn't about arrogance or acting like you're better than everyone. It's about having a quiet belief in yourself, a belief that you've already seen enough, learned enough, and tried enough so you don't need to perform for her. That kind of confidence is what she can't ignore. When she looks at you and thinks, how is this guy so calm about everything? Nobody else around me acts like this. That's when her curiosity switches into overdrive. This kind of confidence is built from experience. It's built from doing things, failing, learning, and still moving forward. It's built from moments where you stood up when others would have backed down, from decisions you made that others didn't have the courage to make. When you've lived through enough to know that bad things happen, but they don't define you, your mind becomes hard, like steel. That's the kind of confidence you see in strong fathers, in inspiring teachers, in leaders who don't need attention but still command respect. When a woman feels that energy in you, it becomes her turning point. It becomes the moment she shifts from this guy is interesting to this guy is someone I want to know deeper. So if you're watching this and you actually want to attract healthy, feminine-minded women, not just temporary attention, not just drama-filled connections, then start focusing on these 5 things. Work on your inner drive so you're moving forward with a clear purpose. Show up emotionally available, but not emotionally dependent, so she feels safe, but not needed for your happiness. Practice emotional regulation, so you're not swinging from extreme highs to extreme lows. Develop the ability to handle pressure and stay calm, especially in silence. And over time, build that irrational confidence that comes from real experience, not from pretending. If you like this breakdown, then think about sharing it with one guy in your circle who keeps chasing the wrong kind of women instead of attracting the right ones. And in the comments, tell me one thing that makes a woman curious about you. What's that one quality or behavior that makes her want to know more? Keep it real, keep it honest, and keep it deep.